I would like to start with this question. So the services you provide, publish or perish, and the Harzing Journal Quality List, must have been thousands of hours over these years. In fact, I have no doubt that it's now in thousands of hours. Why do you do it? What do you get in exchange? What motivates you to spend all that time to offer this service?
That's a very good question, Vaz. And I see that while you were talking, we have gathered quite a large audience, 68 people. So welcome to all of you, and a great honor to be here today. And obviously the current circumstances make it much easier to run seminars like these. So there are some advantages of our current situation. Vaz, I think before answering your question, I think it might be helpful to explain very briefly how these resources came about, because that might be giving part of your answer already, and then I'll move to a further answer as well. The journal quality list, you're right, that has been in existence for quite a while. The first version probably was previous century, 1999. And that originated for a very simple and pragmatic reason that many of you might be facing in your current careers. I was working at a university in the UK, University of Bradford, that evaluated publications using a journal ranking list. The problem was that this ranking list was fairly old, and it originated from the Netherlands 5 or 10 years before that. And most of the international business journals on that list were ranked very, very lowly. So I was facing a situation where I wanted to get promoted, but even JIPS wasn't highly ranked. It was one of the lowest ranks, and journals like Journal of World Business, Management International Review, they might not even have appeared on that list. So I said, we need a new list. And because I was part of the research committee, I volunteered to collate series of rankings from other universities and other institutions to justify my argument that international business journals needed to be higher ranked. So in the end, I collated a large amount of journal rankings. And when I first launched my website, which was also in 1999, I thought, well, if it helps me to collate those rankings, it might help other people as well. So I put it on my website, and since then, as you say, I've updated it a couple of times a year. I don't keep accurate records of the number of downloads, but the last time I looked, it's probably around 50 to 70,000 a year. So it is still used very, very frequently. So this, again, a very pragmatic reason, and this is something I want to come back to later in the discussion as well, as to why would you provide services like this. Often it starts with something you need yourself, and then you realize that this might actually be helpful to other academics as well.
So I'm always have been curious then, how much time does it really take to compile those resources? I mean, I know I use them all the time, but it must be a lot of time. So what are the obstacles, and how much time does it take on your way to create and offer these resources?
The journal quality lists, I would say that's relatively minor in terms of time. It's still a fair amount of time, but these days I only update it twice a year when the new rankings come out. So yeah, it's doable, and in the I think in recent years, there's been a couple of ranking organizations like CNRS, the French one, that actually twice a year send me the minutes of their meeting indicating which journals have changed. So I don't need to go through the whole list of journals again to figure out which have changed. They just send me the list. So that's fairly easy to do. So I would say a couple of days a year for the journal quality list. So that's not too bad. It's something that took a lot of time in the beginning, but now it's more or less routine work. So that's probably fine.